Fanzone, united by the game, powered by Moore's World of Sport.
Welcome back to Fanzone, your hottest destination for all Zimbabwean sport. We're bringing you passion, drama, and non-stop action, all taken here in the Fanzone studio. My name is Sips.
And I'm Steve Vickers, and it is getting hotter and hotter in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League. Simba Bora now on top on goal difference as Moors fall to a wonder goal direct from a corner kick, losing 1-0 to Yada. A 5-goal thriller as Simba Bora beat Herentals 3-2 at Rufaro Stadium. And joining us on the show today, we have a Herentals representative, Fainos Madhumbu. Good to have you with us, Fainos, the Secretary General of Herentals. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Shaw. Thanks to have me on the show.
What a game, just losing out there in a 5-goal thriller.
Yeah, it was a thriller indeed, and we did enjoy it. As fans, we did enjoy the game. Unfortunately, we couldn't collect the maximum points, but it was super.
We'll talk more about that. Also, Herentals holding something exciting and big this coming weekend, a developmental football tournament with colleges from Herentals from all around the country taking part. And also welcome back to the show to Star FM Sportscaster, Simba Chiminya.
Thank you, Steve. Nice to be back on the show.
Great to have you with us. Hey, it's another packed show, Sips.
Yeah, well, so much happened on the Matchday 20 over the weekend, so let's dive right into that in the Matchday Roundup. Matchday 20. What a weekend. There was action, there was drama, there were close calls between Caps United and Triangle, a 1-1 draw. You might have thought with Caps' new resurgent form that Triangle would have been an easy game for them, but it ended up being a 1-1 draw, Triangle scoring first. There were also upsets all over the weekend. Yada defending Hart Stadium, taking on Moors FC, beating them a 1-0. And even Scotland travelling to Baobab Stadium where they won 2-1. So before I get ahead of myself, Steve, that Ngezi Scotland game, that was a nail-biter and definitely interesting in the first half at least.
Yeah, it was. Early blitz of goals, 3 goals in the first 11 minutes. We'll talk about the clash of kits later on because Scotland pitched up in similar colours to that of Ngezi. But their first win outside of Harare, Simba, and 6 points off the pace effectively with 3 points coming their way for that abandoned chicken inn game. Scotland maybe getting back into the race.
Yeah, of course. For me, I thought they've always been the race, title race. It's only that, when a team loses, people will start judging maybe because of the number of players that they have, the big name players. But if you look at the history of the teams that have won our league title, you'd find that those that will be chasing at this stage have got a fairer, should I say, advantage over the team that will be at the top, because the teams at the top will be having so much in terms of weight to maintain the top spot. But when you are chasing, like where Scotland are, it's kind of easier for you. You just really need to gain the momentum towards September, end of August. And I think the star of the show for them was Thokoze Zimsebe, and he has been their savior. 2 brilliant goals. If you remember, even the games that came on, managed to get a point for them away to Highlanders. You show that he's an impact player for them, and the character also playing the better part of the match with a man down after that red card to Peter Mdua showed the character. And for Tondiran Diraya to go in there at Baobab Stadium, break that jinx that he has failed to win with all the other teams that he was coaching, returning to the team that he had also coached, or the stadium that he is familiar with, having coached in Ngezi Platinum Stars. You just have to give credit to him for the job well done.
So it could be a turning point for Scotland. 6 points gap is a lot, though. It means you've got to have a big winning run to narrow that gap, though.
Yeah, well, the Scotland, the Ngezi game might just be the turning point for Scotland. But let's go back to that red card, Peter Mudua, who held back Chirinda after receiving a beautiful through ball from Makue. Was that justified, Simba?
Yes, I would just give it to the referee because he had given him a yellow card, and then the second assistant, who might have been probably closer to action, called the referee and told them, no, it's supposed to be a red card. And I think it was also a good call because he was the last man, and he was Aubrey Chinda was in a goal-scoring position and could have made the difference if he had not been tackled. So I think it was a good call from the referee. And credit also to the assistant referee. It's a team. You also have to chip in when you see that the referee had not seen something.
Yeah, a clear red. Chirinda would have been through one-on-one with the goalkeeper. So I think it was very much a justified choice. But after the Caps game, 2 match days ago, we saw, very distraught in Darai where he said, we are a small team with big players. Later on that week, they had just signed Moses Shidolo, despite Darai's, clear outcry for maybe too many big players. Steve, what do you think about that decision to still bring in players, despite your head coach frustratingly and crying out, saying, hey, look, we need to just focus on our team?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's enough. It's more than enough signings now, and you need to get that momentum, that understanding as a team. Shidolo did start, but he was taken off before half-time on Saturday. There could even be more signings for Scotland. We'll talk about that later on the show, but to me, it's more than enough for the coach to work with.
Yeah. Well, that's the Scotland game. They won 2-1, and they seem to might be turning the tides around. Ngezi now drop into 5th. So quite the drastic.
Just to get in the Sips, I think, when Steve is talking about Shidolo being taken off, I highlighted it to say that, you are bringing in players like Shidolo was playing for Matebele in Botswana, and the Botswana League ended around May. And he hasn't been playing, and match fitness also comes into effect. So for me, at times you try to change a lot, but you need momentum within the team. Yes, you might be bringing the team, but if you look at the players that are there, that are getting them the goals, play in week in, week out, you give you the goals. Play in Michael Tapera week in, week out, you give you the dividends. But if you continue bringing in the players, because you bring in a new player, he has to start because you brought him in. And it also affects the rhythm of the team.
Were you impressed with Shidolo's performance at all?
It's something that I was expecting, that he was not going to last the mile, because at this stage, match fitness is also key. We have seen it with players that are also coming in. And if you check all these players that are coming in, most of them are coming in as free agents, and free agents that are coming in from the leagues that are not running at the moment.
It's very interesting, bringing in a player who's not going to be, the fastest off his feet, maybe not the most informed. It's a risk teams are willing to make. But the second game we would like to talk about is the Herentals of Zimbabwe. Oh, what a game! A 5-goal match. Fainos, what did you think about that match?
Thank you. That match could have gone either way. It was almost a 50-50. We led twice, but finally we lost the game and the points. We couldn't collect maximum points.
Yeah, well, exciting contest. Emmanuel Ziocha playing the football of his life, Simba. Hey, Dynamo's, yes, a good player, but he's really taken off. 2 assists this time for Zimbabwe.
Yes, if you look at Joe Lupatla when he was given that job at Zimbabwe, the first person that he took with him is Emmanuel Ziocha, and he said that, when he was at Dynamos, there are things that he saw in that player that, given the room and independence to play him where he wants, he was going to prosper, and this is what is happening. And if you look at the PSO, the person with the highest number of assists is Emmanuel Ziocha. And, with a coach that really understands you, a coach who gives you the freedom, you can do whatever you want because you've got the full backing. But you look at Zimbabwe also. I've said that they've got the number of highest scoring midfielders in the league at the moment. And you look at their midfielders, they've given so much in terms of input. And even the changes that happened in the second half, it tilted the match in their favor. And you have Neva Tigere was just watching everything from the bench, came in, made the decisive blow, got the 3rd goal for them.
Yeah, big win. Isaskar Gurirab, the Namibian, is one of the best foreign signings of the season by the looks of it. 8 goals now, 2 on Saturday. One of those was a penalty. He was hacked down and he converted it very adeptly as well. So he's been, as much as there's been a whole load of foreign signings making this season so exciting, Gurirab has been one of the best, I think, Sibs.
Yeah, he's exciting to watch. His running lines, he runs the correct lines. He's also able to finish. Sometimes in the PSL we've seen players struggle to finish, and you need someone who can finish. But Fainos, looking again to you, the weekend before, Herentals had played Dynamos in a way, and it ended in a 2-goal win for Herentals. So coming up to last weekend, you had to play on a strong Simba team. But what was the Herentals morale after that triumphant win against Dynamos?
The morale was high, and it also showed on the day in terms of how we played. In terms of the environment and anything we were expecting or we're looking forward to the 3 points. Unfortunately, as I indicated earlier, it could not happen. But that was our target. That was our aim.
Well, that was a great game to watch. Tino Benza,
yeah, sure,
the skipper scoring the goal, and also that own goal from Dynamos. But Steve, wrapping up a match day 20. We're going to look at the second list of the team of the week. So maybe take us through that and let's discuss a little bit and see where that goes.
Yeah, so in goal for us this week we put Wallace Magalani, the FC Platinum goalkeeper. Platinum still unbeaten this season, 1-0 win over Chicken Inn. Magalani made a really big save there to ensure that they got the 3 points. In defence, Terence Daka must be the first name to come up. The Yada left back, his goal against Moors was a thing of beauty, direct from a corner kick. You don't see many like that, and this was a beautiful curling in swinger taken with his left foot. So Daka had an outstanding goal. Chinga Titoshi, the Zambian, in the heart of the Caps United defence in that 1-1 draw against Triangle. Webster Taffa, very good for Simba Bora in that great contest. In midfield, Ali Malicello impressed us as the defensive midfielder for Triangle in the 1-1 draw against Caps United. Emmanuel Ziocha, we talked about him already, 2 assists and the leading assist provider in the league so far this season. So Ziocha of Simba Bora is in our team of the week. So too Tawanda Chatuluka for Triangle, flying down the wing, very impressive at Rufaro Stadium on Sunday. And we have to have Mtokozisium Sebi of Scotland for those 2 goals, 2 very well taken goals. Up front in our team of the week is Askar Gurirab with his 2 goals for Simba Bora. He had a fantastic game. Washington Navaya continues to bang in the goals for Tel 1. He got the winner at the weekend for Tel 1 in 3rd place. And Innocent Masiwa of Bakita Minerals is now becoming a sought-after player. He scored in back-to-back games. He makes it 2 into our team of the week. He's impressing right now. That's our top 11 for the match day.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's a very strong team. But you also could have had Nicholson Nyasulu from FC Platinum. Very good game, sole scorer for FC Platinum against their win and Chicken Inn.
Yep.
And also maybe Wilson Mensah before he got injured, having a good game on the wing, and then it went down, and so you couldn't quite finish the full 90, but definitely not a bad outing. For him.
Nixon Yasulu, Malawian, so there wasn't enough room in our front line to have him, but he's another of those foreign signings for this season, scoring early in the second half.
Mm. Well, yeah. There was also Division 1 happening. There wasn't much, but Simba, maybe tell us what is going on in Division 1.
Yeah, of course, the other 3 leagues are on now break. The Eastern region is on a break. The Northern region is on break. And there were catch-up matches in the Central Region Soccer League. Remember that game that was abandoned way back in May between Shabani Mine and Gwanda Pirates at Magla Stadium because of crowd trouble. So it was replayed the last 22 minutes. They were played at Bada Stadium, a neutral venue, and it ended goalless. And then Chapungu, also they couldn't play some of their matches after the death of their coach, Tawanda Marimo, so they had to play their match against Green Tigers, and it ended goalless as well. MSU played against Dinson Vuma. They won that match by 4 goals to 1. But the Southern region is still in full swing. And Nkai United, the surprise leaders, many people are asking where is this team from. Nkai United, of course, they've got the name Kai, but they're based in Bulawayo. And they remained on top on 31 points, a point ahead of Bulawayo Chiefs. So they managed to win their game against Imbizo by 2 goals to 0. And then Bulawayo Chiefs in second position beat Bulawayo City by 2 goals to 1. And in third place, Wanke, they managed to beat Nasty University by 2 goals to 0. So that's how it's standing in the southern region.
So again, always lots happening in Division 1, as we had Farai Luau on the last episode. Very competitive competition in a league, because there's only one spot for promotion into the PSL. So we always like to keep tabs on what is happening in Division 1. But with Division 1 wrapped up, PSL wrapped up, Simba Bora back on the top, Moors in second after they lost to Yada. Maybe your struggling Caps or definitely had the fright of a lifetime against Triangle. But with match day 20 wrapped up, let's look ahead to match day 21. Match day 21 coming up over the weekend. Caps in 11th taking on a triumphant Talwan, definitely in strong form. Steve, what do you think about this match?
Yeah, interesting coaches' comments this past weekend. Herbert Marua, the Tel 1 coach, says they are now in the title race. He was bold enough to say that they're 7 points adrift of Simba Bora and of Moors. He's feeling confident. On the other hand, Lloyd Mutasa, who's been cagey all season as the Moors coach, saying they wanted to reach 40 points and avoid relegation. Well, they're on 40 points now. He says the aim is a top half finish, although you would think they're big contenders there. But Marua feeling Tel 1 can move on from here, Simba.
Yeah, I like it when Herbert speaks like that, Steve, because I like to give your words power to say we are going for the title, because you can't be number 3 and say we want to finish in the top 8. And last season you're also campaigning to finish in the top 8. Just say we are going for the big one, we want to win the title. If you fail, that's part of football. Even a team that gets into the final will also be looking at winning the final, but at the end you end up losing. But doesn't mean that is the end of the world, or you should settle for less. Just go for the big one. Say you want to win the title.
But generally, Caps' form is strong. I take them to beat Tel 1 there, Sips.
Oh, I'm not too sure. Hey, I mean, that game against Triangle, the 1-1 draw, Triangle scoring first, definitely put a lot of pressure. I was sitting there looking at my predictor, thinking it was going to be a Caps win, but I think Talwan might just edge this one based on form and momentum. 1-0 for Talwan.
I agree with you, Sips, there. I was just looking at Caps United, the features that I saw within their defense and midfield, because if you've got somebody who can really sit in the midfield, you make sure that Nyasha Chintuli doesn't play like what Ali Maliselo did on Sunday. And then you also have somebody who stretches the defense, like what Tawanda Chatuluka was doing. And Bren Kadamanja couldn't really play him. And 1v1 situations, Chatuluka was winning most of those duels. So if you've got a team high in confidence like Tier 1, with a coach that can also give them belief, because if Triangle had really believed in themselves, they should have won that match. So I will give this game to Tier 1, like you said, because I've seen Chitoshi Chinga, yes, is good, but is also still kind of struggling with his fitness, a little bit slow. So with a coach who really knows how to play those, in those pockets, you can win. We saw what happened even at FIFA Club World Cup when PSG were the firm favorites. But Enzo Maresca came with a game plan, and they managed to beat PSG.
Yeah. Well, you'll see. I'll give that to Caps for a victory, 2-1.
And to be more specific, Simba, is Navai going to score?
Definitely. And I think if you look at the times that he has come to Harare, he has managed to get those goals.
All right. And Fainos, your boys will be, well, your men are going to be traveling to Sakuva Stadium against Manika Diamonds. What are your aspirations and ambitions for that match?
Since we're coming from a defeat, I think going to Mutare, we are supposed to avoid a defeat. That's the starting point.
That's the starting point.
Yes.
And sure, it was defeat, but you scored 2 goals against Simba Bora, a feat that not many teams have done. So I'm sure that might play into maybe a bit of form. Is there a strategy going into the game against Manika Diamonds?
I can say we are just supposed to improve defensively, because it's not always that we get scored 3 times. So whatever went wrong on that particular day, we're supposed to adjust to correct that one.
All right, that'll be interesting. Maybe we might see a goal from Tino Benza. He might point into the back net. Steve, your predictions for this game?
Yeah, some of these games are ending goalless, especially Manika Diamonds. I'll say 0-0.
Simba.
Yeah, I'll give it a Herentals win. Not just that I'm sitting next to Fainos, but look at Manika Diamonds. They've got ball players, but the kind of play that they also want to employ, the long ball, in the end, they're not creating those chances, because look at the play that they have. They should just press the ball, get it into the final third, but it's not happening, and I don't think they've got much in terms of confidence. So I'll give it to Herentals.
Yeah, I'm going to back Herentals here. 2 goals against Dynamos, 1 from Tino, the own goal. They led twice against Simba Bora. They'll be definitely on the front foot, confident 2-0 for Herentals.
Well, the thing about Herentals, and well done to Fainos, because they've been such a competitive team since you came up to the Premier League in 2018. I think you're never scared of anyone, are you?
Yeah, it's in our DNA. We're not afraid. We believe in ourselves, yes. So we try our best. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, all to play for on match day 21. Moors will be defending Moors Ngoni Stadium against FC Platinum, the only team to be unbeaten thus far in the PSL. 18 match days unbeaten, and it'll be an interesting result. Moors were unbeaten once, but they lost to Ngezi. Can Moors now be the team to end the streak of FC Platinum?
Yeah, this is the game of the weekend. I think it's going to be fascinating. FC Platinum coach Norman Mapeza said it was not easy getting ready for the Chicken Inn game following the death of star midfielder Brian Banda. The players were struggling to focus. He told them that you have to move on. It's part of life. Despite his tragic passing, and they managed to pull themselves together and to get a 1-0 win, and I think they're going to continue playing good football. They've got a strong squad. This is going to be too close to call, I think, Sips.
And for you, Simba?
Yeah, I agree with Steve. It's going to be too close to call, because you look at FC Platinum, they want to keep this momentum, because now they are on 28 points, and if they're given those 3 points of that about a match against Dynamos, they'll be on 31. So they can't afford to continue sitting ground to the teams that are at the top. But for Moors, they need to bounce back. They need redemption in front of their supporters. And I foresee a draw in this game.
Yeah, 1-1 for me, Sips.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there, Steve. 1-1. There's a reason why nobody's been able to topple FC Platinum. I think with that loss to Yada, Moors might just struggle to win this game, but still a 1-1 draw. But with match day 21 coming up, let's take a look at the Predictor leaderboard and what happened over the match day 20 weekend. The Moors, a PSL Predictor, happened over the weekend, match day 20. And in the top 10, not much has changed. However, there is a new participant, a new person, debutant in the top 10. Well done to King Pod 07, who's come in 10th. And he was sitting, or they were sitting at 13th the previous weekend. But Steve, match day 20 was a bit of a doozy when it came to a couple of those predictions.
Difficult, was it? Someone was showing off about getting 3 correct predictions last week. I think it was you, Sips. Guess who got 3 correct this week? Yeah, That was myself. I found it good going. A massive 55 points this past weekend. Yeah.
All your 3 cricket predictions.
I got the Manica Diamonds one correct, the FC Platinum, and one of the Saturday games as well. I got my Joker right as well, the FC Platinum. So yeah, came out scoring big there.
Yeah, Steve, you won't believe it. On Thursday, I placed my prediction: 1-0 goal for Taiwan against Dynamos. For whatever reason, I thought Washington Navia was still on trial. So I was like, no, I'm going to take my goal back. I'm going to put it as a 0-0 draw. Suffice to say, it was 1 goal in the favor of Taiwan. And it was Washington
He was back,
who
yes.
scored for them. So, and I even put my Joker there, but I took it off and put on another game. So it was a bit of a shamble. Really frustrated myself for that one. But yes, guys, the Moors PSL predictors still in full swing. Icon has now extended his lead. He's stretched his legs a bit over Simba. There's now a 19-point gap between those two. So maybe are we seeing a shift? Icon was leading, and Simba, then Icon, then Simba. But Icon seems to be firmly holding into that position. The greatest rising is a Teacher Horn, who's now in 8th place, coming from 14th. So well into the top 10, but also to everyone who is a part of the PSL Predictor. It's so much fun. Put in your predictions. There's nothing to lose. There's still sweepstake prizes to be won. Caps, bucket hats, more replica shirts. There's still the Suzuki Eco, which is up for grabs. So just make sure you are placing your predictions, and you'll be standing a chance to at least win a sweepstake prize. Private leagues are also a fun way to brag amongst friends, family, in the Fanzone administration. I'm still coming third, very happy with that, but I need to eye down my co-workers who are sitting on the top board. So head on over to fanzone.co.zw, sign yourself up, because this predictor is fun. Every match day seems to bring some sort of news, some sort of drama and upsets. So check out the Moors PSL predictor. But right now, let's go to the Beyond the Pitch. Beyond the Pitch. This is the segment where we take a break from the PSL and look to what is happening all around in Zimbabwean sport. It still might be football, but just not PSL related. And this is where our guest here, Fainos, comes into handy. So Fainos, we know that Herentals Colleges are hosting a tournament over the weekend, the first part of the tournament. For those who don't know, tell us a little bit about this tournament and why it's so important for Herentals.
Thank you for that. It's a Principal's Trophy. Basically, the first day is going to be soccer. And we have grouped our schools dotted around the country into zones. So for primary, we have 12 zones across the country. And then for secondary, 12 zones again across the country. So they will be competing on the 18th of July. And those that are going to come top, they will then proceed to the finals on the 7th of August to compete for the top prize.
So, Fainos, you told us Herentals Group of Colleges has 85 schools around the country.
Yeah, sure, that's correct.
85?
Yes.
Where are they?
In almost all major towns and cities in Zimbabwe. Sure.
How many in Harare, for example?
43.
In Bulawayo?
In Bulawayo, we have 7.
Well,
yes. Sure.
Okay, so sport is a big part of what you do. Tell us maybe one or two products that you produced through this kind of development in the Herentals Group of Colleges.
Yeah, we have Wilmo Chimbetu, who is commanding first team jersey with our senior team. We can also, of course, talk of the likes of Libert Chakoroma. He was at our Mtares Sender sometime in 2010. We also have Frank Kuchine, he's a goalkeeper reserve at Greenfield there. He was at our CBD Center in Harare. We can talk of so many other players that are still competing at the highest level in the PSL, yes, sure.
And Fainos, why do you host? Why does Herentals engage in this tournament? Is there a specific aim and an outcome for this tournament?
Yeah, sure, definitely. The first thing is to give the platform to the youngsters, because we're talking of as under 9 age groups up to the under 20, that is secondary level. So we are trying to give these youngsters a platform to showcase their talents. That's one thing. And then secondly, they can then find their way into the professional leagues as they move on with their careers.
Okay.
And
Sure.
this is boys and girls, is it?
Yeah, it's boys and girls, yes, sure.
All right, it's a very noble thing for a developmental side of things. So this is phase 1 this coming weekend, and then tell us about the second phase.
The second, that is going to come on the 7th of August. That's the finals. So all the zones now, they will be coming to Harare for the finals. So it's not only going to be soccer now for the finals, then the other sporting disciplines, volleyball, rugby, basketball, they will be participating.
Great stuff. So a college big enough to compete against themselves with so many different branches. Also, we got the CAF Women's Champions League, the CASAFA qualifiers next month in August. Herentals Queens will be there as the reigning women's PSL champions. You were there last season as well. How's the preparations for the Champions League for Herentals Queens?
The preparation is going on well since our league is in full force. So yeah, we are preparing for the tournament.
And last season you were there as well. It was tough going. It usually is, because you might meet a big team from South Africa. It was Zambia, I think, who got in your way last time. How are you finding the gap between where we are and the best women's football clubs in the region?
I'm happy to say that we went to Malawi, we learned, and from those lessons we are going to be improving this time around. And in terms of the gap, it's there, but it's not that big. So we are having a chance to compete.
Okay.
Yes.
And Fainos, what does improving mean for you and for the Herentals Queens?
Improving in this case, we are supposed to go beyond the group stages.
The group stages.
That's the improving, yes.
That'll be definitely quite a tough ask.
Yeah, it's challenging. You've got the likes of Mamelodi Sundowns ladies in there, which makes it very difficult. It's in Zambia this time, these regional qualifiers.
Zambia, sure.
Yeah. So wish you all the best there, and that you'll keep on developing. How's the women's PSL been so far this season?
Very competitive. Yeah, very competitive. We have 3, if not more than 3 teams which are competing for the top prize. So it's very competitive this time around, yes, sure.
So we had Black Rhinos Queens dominating Simba for quite a long time. Herentals Queens in the picture now.
Yeah, you have to give it to Herentals because getting in there and wrestle the dominance from Black Rhinos, there is also Harare City and there's also Chapungu. These are formidable teams, but for Herentals to come in and then take it and winning it for the past, is it 2 seasons?
3 seasons.
3 seasons,
yes.
Yeah, dominating. It shows that there's something that they're doing right.
Well, great stuff. Really do applaud your developmental approach there at Herentals Fainos. Great stuff.
So I just got a little question to ask you, Fainos. You know, a lot of Fanzone, the topics that have come up and themes has been, you know, youth development and development of sport within Zimbabwe. And with this tournament, that's exactly what Herentals College is doing, planning to feed into the D1, feed into PSL. However, with that being said, you know, Innocent Benza is still a part of the Herentals team, you know, in his 50s. Is that not contradictory as to your vision and your plan?
I wouldn't call it contradictory as such, but his inspiration is unmeasurable. Okay. So if we have him up close, that's a plus for the youngsters.
Okay, so more like a role model, someone they can learn from, look up to.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Okay, well, we're here to ask the questions fans would ask. I mean, is he not holding back the performance of Herentals? He's coming off at half-time these days, but it's almost like you're playing with 10.5 men in the first half. Wouldn't you be higher up the table if you were starting with somebody else instead of Honourable IB9, who again is doing amazing things, but is it not holding you back in terms of where you could be?
Statistically, if you look at our team will suffer when he's out, like in the second half. And supporters and everyone, they will be demanding that he remains in the pitch. But unfortunately, the coaches will be having other ideas.
Well, he's a fan favourite, Simba.
Sure,
Obviously, he's
sure.
brought a dimension that we've never seen in the league before of a player in his 50s. But,
yeah, of course, you look at those flicks, the dummies, that's what most people get from him. But I remember doing an interview with him when he turned 52 and saying, when are you going to stop? And he said, no, I'm not stopping because IB9 is Herentals and Herentals is IB9. But what I got from that is that, as long as it's in, the publicity, whether it's negative or positive, it's also drawing attention towards Herentals. And if you check in the number of other players that have come through the Herentals system that are playing for other teams now, you'd see that there has been a lot of attention. And you can't now talk of Herentals as an upstart. And in the past seasons, they've been the most performing team from Harare, actually. Yeah, and sure. They finished better than Dynamo's Cape United, I think, for the past 2 seasons.
Even with somebody in their 50s. So
yes,
it's what
team.
A marketing thing is drawing attention to the club.
So I think whatever the idea is in terms of marketing, it's helping them in terms of people always mention Herentals and also mention Innocent Benza within that scheme.
So it makes us talk about Herentals, Fainos.
Yeah, but in a good way.
Well, let us know in the comments what you think of IB9. Should he still be playing? Should he maybe look to a coaching role? Or is his time on the pitch not done yet? Let us know in the comments. But Fainos, thank you for shedding a light, on your tournament. I hope it goes well. It all goes as planned, and with all the competition. And hopefully we'll see some youngsters coming up through your system.
Yeah, sure, thank you.
Yeah.
We're expecting that, sure.
Well, as a Beyond the Pitch suggests, let's go now to Beyond the Pitch and look further than football. But over the weekend, our Sables in Kampala had a very tough match against the Kenyan Simbas. It was... I had to take a break from looking at my iPad while watching the game. We eventually did come out on top with 29 points to 23, but at halftime, the Kenyans were actually leading 18 points to 13. So it was a tough watch, but as we said, we got through the semi-final. We're in the final, and a really good game.
Yeah, I was worried too, especially after that massive government support a couple of days before the game for the Sables, all the publicity to encourage them, but being behind at half-time, I was getting a bit worried there, but then they turned on the power in the second half. So now it's Namibia, our rivals, our nemesis in the final on Saturday. We know how hard it is to beat Namibia. It's got to be our day where everything goes right to have a chance of beating Namibia. So we just say, go Sables, go and get us to the Rugby World Cup for the first time since 1991, hopefully. But it's going to be so hard, Sibs.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a hard-fought battle. But also, as we had anticipated, as we all had hoped, Zimbabwe and Namibia were the favourites heading into the tournament. But Tino Mavasere, who's obviously from Zimbabwe, won Man of the Match. And there was a little bit of an interview done with him, and he shared some thoughts on the match. So let's hear what he had to say.
Mistakes that we put ourselves in, but the boys fought for each other. And it was a minute-by-minute, moment-by-moment game, and we managed to stick it through.
Zimbabwe is one step closer to the World Cup. What does this mean, playing a final of a World Cup qualifier?
It's a privilege. It means a lot, not only for us, but for our nation. We carry 14 million people behind our backs, and we get to represent those 14, us 15 in the field. So it's such a moment that we cherish as the team. There were tears after the game. That shows that it really means a lot. Yeah.
So some very humble words there are from Tino. wearing the Sables jersey is never an easy feat, but he loves and he enjoys doing it, and he's going to continue fighting and hopefully get us through with the rest of the team to lifting up that Africa Cup trophy. But also, we've had the Region 5 Youth Games, where it's been a pretty successful outing for Zimbabwe. Simba, tell us about that.
Yeah, I think when you look at it, I think it was a success. I would want to measure ourselves in terms of the position that we finished on. But I think when you look at ourselves in the past games that we played and the medals that we managed to get and the medals that we managed to get this time around, you look at the last time it was about 12 gold medals, but here this time around we had so many, 19 gold medals.
21
gold medals, yes. And you could say that this was a good achievement, measuring ourselves against ourselves, that we have really improved. And you look at South Africa, yes, they give us that competition that would always want to be closer to them in terms of medals overall. But the most important thing for me was to make sure that we do better than we did at the last edition. And now looking forward to the next edition of the games, we say we want more than 21 gold medals and give ourselves so much in terms of targets, because we just come back and say which are the things that we need also to do in terms of our grassroots levels development across all the sporting courts.
Yeah, it definitely was a good result for Zim, coming second after South Africa, beating the host Namibia. They did actually have a higher medal count, but because we had more gold medals, we do finish above them. So really well done to all our Zimbabwean athletes who competed in the Region 5 Youth Games. Did us proud, and we'll look forward to seeing even more Region 5 gold medals next year. But Steve, I understand that you watched some very exciting sprints over the weekend.
Yeah,
Tell us about
the
that.
Monaco Diamond League. Maka Charamba, outstanding, elite, world-class stuff from Zimbabwe's Maka Charamba in Monaco in the men's 200 metres in the Diamond League. This was on Friday night as he finished third behind Noah Lyles of the USA, who's the best sprinter in the world over 200 metres, and the Olympic champion Letsile Teboho of Botswana. Maka, remember, you reached the Olympic final in Paris last year together with fellow Zimbabwean Tapiwa Makaral. He came storming through 19.99 seconds, just outside of his personal best and the Zimbabwe national record, which he broke earlier this year, 19.92. It was a brilliant stuff. Still slow with his starts. If he can get his starts right, we could even see him challenging, hopefully, for a medal at the World Championships in Japan in a couple of months' time. But that really was elite, world-class stuff from Maka Charamba. Brilliant there to be in the top three against the best two in the world.
Yeah, it's a great result, and if he keeps on training, still within the 19-second range as Noah Lyles, how good would it be if Charambas to take down Lyles? It would be a really, really good thing.
That'd
to
be
see.
something, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it'll just make the Americans think more about Zimbabwe and not take us for granted. But that brings us to the end of Beyond the Pitch. And let's go now to Rumours and Rubbish, where we might be discussing a couple of things that happened in the Ngezi Scotland game and a couple of transfers.
So, rumours and rubbish. This entirely our own opinions from what we've seen, observed, and what we're hearing, and our own thoughts. So, in the rubbish category, Scotland, a clash of colours against Ngezi Platinum Stars away at the Baobab Stadium in Saturday's Castle Lager Premier Soccer League meeting. If you watched the game or if you saw some of the highlights, very confusing in the first half. Difficult to distinguish the two sides. Ngezi in their dark blue tops. Scotland were in their grey tops and they had dark blue shorts, and it really was confusing, so much so that there was a short stoppage in play for the referee to have a word, and they came out in the second half, Scotland, in all white, which clearly they should have been wearing in the first place as the away team. Firstly, Fainos, as the Herentals Secretary General, these things, you have a pre-match meeting, yes, a couple of days before the game ahead of a PSL.
Yeah,
game.
like Wednesdays or Thursdays, it varies, but yes, we have pre-match meetings.
And there you're supposed to say what kit you're going to be wearing, yeah?
Yeah, it's more of preparing for the match day. Yes.
Yeah, so I mean that's just not right at all. That's Simba, yeah.
Yeah, and I think just before the match as well, there's supposed to be the inspection, the referees, the match commissioner. I'm sure they also must have checked something in terms of the colors there, but it shows something about the beliefs of our teams and the mind games that are also comes up with it, because Scotland really knew what they were doing and tried to put off Ngezi Platinum, and I'm pretty sure that they won in terms of mind games there, because even during the match you couldn't really tell which team was it, Scotland or it was Ngezi Platinum Stars. And if it was not the mind games, then it's ineptness on the part of the team manager, because he should have carried. But I don't really agree that it was ineptness, because they really knew what they were doing. Where did the white kit come from in the second half? And if you look at most of our teams, they've got these beliefs in terms of the kits. Look at Cape United right now. After Ian Bakala took over, they've always been using that white strip. And even at home, they are not using the designated warm
They
green.
played a home game in yellow recently,
Yes,
which is their
yellow.
third kit.
Yes, and yesterday it was, on Sunday it was their white kit. And I remember even when Dynamos, they won the last two editions of the Chibuku Super Cup using the red colors.
Yes.
And when they play in that season open against Simba Bora pitched up in red. Saying Dynamos have been winning in red and we have to pitch up in red so that they are forced to change the color of their kits. So
yeah.
it's just the beliefs and the main games that you find from our teams.
Yeah, but then why did they not use that strategy when they played Moors all those match days ago at the Ngoni Stadium?
I think they were not yet under this kind of pressure. Yeah, when they played against Moors, and in that game they thought they were going to win. That's why you saw there were lots of bonuses being promised to the players. The confidence was high.
Yeah, well, I think it's rubbish. The referee and officials should have done something to not even kick off the match in the first place. Obviously the white kits were available, so I think the PSL board will need to do a bit of looking and digging into that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's been an issue for years and years, but this is the latest episode, yeah.
Yeah, but onto the transfer side of rumours and rubbish. Rumoured being that Innocent Masiwa will be joining Moors and leaving Bikita Minerals. Simba, do you think this is a go?
Yeah, a good one. Looking at his age, the goals that he's been scoring, actually, I think that Moors have won this one because they need, depth up front. They need competition. Look at Billy Veremu. When was the last time that he scored? So you need somebody who can chip in and get in the goals, particularly when you're in the title race. You need so many in terms of options. Chicken Inn were also looking for him and wanted him, but it seemed like Moors was a better destination for him, and he chose to go to Moors.
Yeah. Funnily enough, he actually did play for Moors FC during the D1 days in the 2023-24 season. So seems like he wants to go back to his old home and his old place, and we'll see how that goes from there. But Simba, you also wanted to bring up an issue about players who go for trials overseas or outside the country, and because it's not their regular football season, their trials is actually just fitness and not ball skills. So they're wasted outside of the PSL.
Yeah, when
Explain
you're talking
more.
about your prediction and yet put in 1-0 for 2-1, thinking that Navaya was not in there, you put it a goalless. But look at Navaya, he just went in there for how many days? And when we couldn't even think that he was coming back, he was already back. So mostly when you're starting this preseason, it's just more about fitness and the running, not much in terms of ball games or ball play. So at times you go in there for 4 days, you don't do much on the field of play in terms of playing, and they don't get a chance or enough time to see you, and then just come back home. So for me, I think, when they want these players, they should just go for players because they're watching them on TV. They just sign them, because if you look at the top players, really, they don't really go for trials.
Yeah, so you don't need to call Washington Navai for trials. You can watch
Yeah.
him on TV or send a scout if you have to.
Yes, send a scout. And I think even if you look at the time that many of our players were flooding South African League, they were not going for trials. They would just come for the players. They would see them play for the national team, playing in some tournaments, and then they just go for the players. But now, you have a player even playing for the national team said he's going for trials in South Africa. For me, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Fainos, would you be annoyed or frustrated if you'd heard one of your players had gone away for trials, maybe missed a match day, came back and said that he didn't really do much, just a couple of fitness tests?
Yeah, like what Simba is saying, these players are already proving themselves in a competitive league, and then being invited for trials when the league is going on. I just don't see it being proper. Yes.
Yeah, well, definitely issues to look into there. But on the cricketing side of rumours and rubbish, there's been a petition, and fans, pundits, cricket commentators are very frustrated with the Zimbabwe Cricket Selection Committee, saying that they're doing a terrible job. Players who aren't supposed to be selected are being reselected despite their poor form. One of them we mentioned was Dion Mize in the test against South Africa. But there's definitely a huge cry for better selection from the fans.
Yeah, I don't get this one. I don't know what the complaining is about, Sips. For me, it's just a matter of depth of talent or the absence of it right now. This has been going on for decades and decades. The criticism of the cricket team selection along racial lines, if you go back a few years, about issues of too many players selected from Takashinga, young black players. And ever since, there's been complaints about the selection committee, but they're there for a reason. They're well appointed, they're experts, and I don't get it.
Yeah, well, this frustration is coming off the back of tests that Zimbabwe played earlier this month against the Proteas, the South African team, where in the first test we lost by a whopping 236 runs, and the second test it only got worse, where we lost by, the first test we lost by 328 runs, and the second test we lost by an innings and 236 runs. So huge defeats, and fans are embarrassed, and there's a lot of questions fans want answered, and I guess this is always going to be one of those
if
things.
you change one or two players, was it going to change that result against South Africa?
No.
Really? South Africa themselves had made 6 or 7 changes, but they had the depth to still give us a thorough beating there.
Yeah, I was able to, over the weekend, I was just talking with one of the cricket commentators that I know, and he said, he was at the Queen's game, he was commentating, and he pretty much just said, look, we just weren't good enough. It was nothing really to do with structure, with selection. It just was a simple case of we weren't good enough. So, again, disappointing results, but with the international tri-series hosted here at Herentals Sports Club, there is a bit of redemption, but this will be white ball cricket and not the red ball cricket where we've struggled for so long. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough time for Justin Salmons over the next 2 weeks.
It is, but I think we've used our domestic competitions well. We picked the best that we could, but we were just exposed.
Yeah. Well, such is the way of life. But that concludes Rumours and Rubbish and today's episode of Fanzone. Simba and Fainos, thank you so much for sitting in the Fanzone with us. Simba, your knowledge, incredible, your opinions, thank you very much. Fainos, good luck with Herentals. Sure. There'll be this weekend and also your tournament coming up. I hope you get some really young talent and everything runs smoothly. But yeah, as I said, brings us to the end of the episode. If you like this content, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you are alerted every time we upload. But also head on over to our website, fanzone.co.zw, where there are daily sports articles, soccer, football, rugby, hockey, tennis, whatever it is, cricket. They'll be available for your daily consumption. And also we are available on social media, Instagram, X, Facebook, and WhatsApp channel. But that's us from the Fanzone studio, and we'll see you guys next week.